Now the reason I made this video for this belt is because every video I watched, people were doing shenanigans. Totally removing this, unbolting the axle, turning the lawnmower upside down. Just some crazy stuff. So I really had no intention of making this video till I saw the videos, which is great to have those videos, but hopefully you'll catch mine, see that that's not that hard to do. The only reason it took a long time to do it because I was filming it and stopping and redoing it to film it. Otherwise it would have taken probably less than 30 minutes. So good luck if you're going to do it. You'll need to do this job: 7/16, a giant screwdriver, number 10 to get the battery out, depending on what size your screws are, they could be different, a hook to grab that spring back there, pipe wrench. I did not use the vice grips. Needle nose pliers for that, and a 13 for the part over there. That's basically the tools you're going to need to be able to get this done. But my drive belt went bad. This was a used mower we bought. Takes two belts. Takes the long one, takes the short one. So the way to get to this is through the hole through the battery. So you got to disconnect your battery, take your little battery racks out. So 2 screws, battery rack just sits in there. Now the problem is getting this pulley out. It's a 7/8, and use a long screwdriver so you can stick in that hole down there. There's a hole, and that'll hold it while you put pressure on that 7/8. So basically you can stick your hand in through here. So there's my hand, and you can hold that screwdriver and pull on this and loosen that nut that's been on there for many years and crusty on there. This long one has to go on first. So basically all you need to do to get that one off is take this top one off, which is to loosen this spring, which got a real good grip. So this spring is what holds the pedal in position, tension spring. So if you get you a hook and grab this spring, pull this off, pull the spring off, then this all loosens up. So there's nothing in here holding that anymore. Nothing holding this. So that allows all this to come loose, the belts. The other videos I saw were just crazy complicated. They were taking off the wheel, they were taking off this, just too much. All you need is a 7/8 and a screwdriver. That'll come loose. All you need for the other one, I think, is a 15. That drops down. Takes a few minutes to do. So I'll show you that. They were taking off the deck. They were taking off all that stuff for no reason. So let me get this off. And that's how easy that is. That's just sitting on there. And those little star tangs. This unscrews. So once you know that you can hold that with a long screwdriver and a 7/8, that's about as simple as you can get for working on stuff. So this comes out. You got to get this belt out of here. Belt's what we're after. It's trapped in there. Shaft, which is really hard once you've done it the first time. So it's one nut right here. Basically you just, ow, be careful. So you have to remove this dumb bar that keeps this belt on. Loosen this nut. This drops down. Then actually it's going to have to come off because you're going to have to get the belt on there. So you will have to remove this to get this off, which is kind of a pain. I forgot about that. So you got one clip here. This comes apart. One screw. This drops down. Put the belt on. Take this off. So step one, this and this. Let me do that. Okay, this is a picture of step one to get this off. Put the pipe wrench on. You're going to put the pipe wrench on in that direction, and this wrench is going just as you would normally take off. It's not reverse threads. So basically you hold it, and then this takes this off. And that is already, you can see it dropping down now. It ain't gonna drop down, but I've had this off to work on this engine, so it's just falling off. So there you go. There's a little tooth in there that holds that in position, so when you put it on, it's got to go back on that little tooth. So this is off, but it's trapped. So there's a screw on the other side to take this off, and you're gonna have to take this off so the whole thing comes off and drops off this bar, which is clear down to about here, and then put your new belt on there. So this next, this screw over here, right, this screw right there that's bolted from the bottom, I think that's a 10 or a 13. So basically when I wiggled the pin out, that was the only thing that was holding that in. The whole thing dropped off. So that's as far as that needs to go. Basically your belt needs to go around this and back there to the back, and then put that all back. So I'm trying to prep for this because I had the one belt, trying to get her done. Now I may have to pull that back out. That's what happened. I put that belt all the way in there, and then this won't go down into that groove. Okay, I pushed it down in there best I could. So now this piece has to go in there and grab the belt and go over this piece and go over there. So that was the problem. To get all of them to go, I had to pull that belt. So let me use two hands, slide it over there. All right, so since this has come off, basically, luckily you can reach your hand in through both holes on the side. This piece just comes out. That piece comes out. Once the belt is off, then this travels up to allow you to have space to get that down in there. But that has to go down in there, not on the outside, or your belt will be ruined first time you even start it up. You know, I've wasted your money. So basically, in order to get the main drive belt, which is the brown one under the black one, it's got to go through those two tangs. There's one on each side, another tang right there. So that lower belt, the only way to get it on is to take the upper belt off and lift up this center section. So the center section moves back and forth. So what happens is, this belt being in there won't let this lower enough to be able to tighten that belt. So you're going to have to pull that back. That should be enough to hopefully pull that down, and then once it's tight, you pull that belt forward. Let me try it again. Piece can move. So in order to get that on there, this has to come back this way. Now I can put that piece on there, and my thing slipped out. So I have to put that back. That makes that all long enough. This has to be pulled. The orange one has to be pulled towards the back. That one needs its spring spacer, and then you can put that stuff on. I'm going to tighten that up. Let's see if I can set the camera here. There's basically two holes where you can get a hand on this side, and you can get a hand over here, and you can get a hand through there. So it's a 7/8. What I don't know is if I can just hold this, because it doesn't have to be on there super tight because it's going to go in the same rotation. So if we try to use this thing, again from a different direction. Am I going to be able to hold it? I could hold it. Just not long enough arm reach. So let's see if I can hold it that side and pull from this side. And that's Superman tight. Alright, I had put that nut back on and the belt, but that will not work. That has a spring on it and you can push it over, but you can't hold it long enough to get this. Let's say it just popped off. So the problem is that you have to push this over with one hand. You have to push this spring-loaded piece over with one hand and then take that and get it on the correct tooths. And that's just really hard to do. So it's easier to put a block of wood or something in here so you can take two hands in here and get that on the star. Because that has to be, if you tighten that nut down like that, it would be egg shaped, not spin true. So let me put that on there, see if I can film it. Okay, so basically I put something in there to hold that over. So now I can get this thing to line up on the star how it's supposed to be. So I'm still gonna have to use two hands, not be able to film it. So let me put that on the star how it's supposed to be. All right, there's a picture of it on there. Got your tool holding the spring over, got that thing back, got the thing in its proper teeth. Not liking how that's, I really can't film it. It's just the tension of the belt is popping it off. That has to be on the stars. Tension of the belt's pulling it off. Tighten it down. Okay, that's hand tight. I want to make sure that this belt is pulled into the right place. See how that thing is movable. So now when you put that forward belt on, it's going to have to be all the way forward, or it's not going to reach the belt up in the front. Okay, so now we have the belt on. This thing has slipped out. Hopefully we won't need that anymore. Make sure that this is all in its tracks. The weird inside of these things, once it's on. Oh, it's got to go above this bar, so I've already messed up. Has to go above anything in here, which is this bar. I think that's it. That even fits better. There we go. So that's it. I can put that bolt back in there. And then I will inspect it one more time. See, those things need to be inside of that, I think. So they run on that track inside of there. So if you put them on the outside, you're going to eat up your belt first time you turn it on. The thing is, if you go away from this for a few days, you forget all your steps. But the good news is this only took 10-15 minutes. We weren't disassembling a bunch of stuff. All right, so let me tighten down that forward bolt and put all that assembly back together under there, which is one screw, this piece, and a pin. So it's basically 2 screws and a pin. So let me get that together. I will show you each one as I do it. All right, pretty simple. You got one nut, it's a number 13. I'm going to tighten that down, going the wrong way. This got to be on there pretty tight because I did have it come loose, which I was surprised. It came loose and dropped down and was riding on that track. So let me tighten that up fairly tight. All right, step 2 is to put this one back. Problem is when you're working in a shared shop, people kick stuff around, so that's going to get screwed into that spot. All right, this is actually a 1/2 inch, so I'm not sure the weird nuts and bolts. It seems like some of them are metric, some of them are American. So that is that bolt. Tightening it up, 1/2 inch. Put it together. This keeper has to be put back in the right spot. So it really sucks because it's got to go in this one, I believe. So let me use 2 hands. It's pretty strong business. Probably could have not tightened it first, put it in here, and then tighten the other one. I was able just to pick this up with one hand and use my other hand, put the pin in there. This is a wonky business pin. Alright, very hard to videotape that, a wonky pin, so that this piece right there just goes, twist it kind of sideways, get you some needle nose pliers, twist it, shove that in there, ba-bang, ba-bang. Okay, so we had to use this to hold this, but to tighten it, I just grabbed this so this couldn't spin and tighten that up. So that could come loose. It did come loose one time and it was just riding on that. And I think all I have left for this is to tighten up that, put the spring on, put that on. So let me do that real quick. Videotape of that and just holding it against the bar, and let's see if I can. I'm reaching in here. Now that spring is under some crazy tension to be pulled right there. I do not like that. Man, that just seems very dangerous. So let me put the battery in and we will see. Man, that's got some crazy tension, and it seems like it should be coming back further, but maybe it has to, I don't know, I feel like something's not right. Maybe it has to run to, so when I start this up, I need to make sure that things aren't bound up. Oh, I see these tabs. The belt went up there, up in the tabs. I've had that happen before where they didn't go in the tabs and then they got ruined real quick. And why I say that is because that pedal usually comes back farther and it's not. So I'm not sure. It's kind of weird because if you shut it off in gear, it won't come back either. So you have to put it in 7th gear and shut it off. Put it in 7th gear so that pedal will walk back. I don't know if it's, you know, works its magic back here and undoes the centrifugal, putting that on. But basically I put my foot here and I actually did it with 2 hands because I didn't have the camera, so I don't think I filmed it, and I had it hooked here and pulled it and put it on there. So with 2 hands it was easy enough to do. I couldn't do it with 1 hand and filming it, so I don't think I put that step in there. But basically that spring is pretty tough spring, so you want to make sure that if it, you know, it's up inside of here, if it gets away from you, it's going to spring up in there. I filmed taking this battery out, but it's a pretty wonky deal. Just little metal brackets just go in there and they lay in there like that. They don't really connect to anything. So, you know, smoky. Just click in there. So battery saddles. So the next thing, battery. Looks like the negative is the long one, so we'll put the negative forward. Drop it in like that. Hook up the positive, hook up the negative. Do that real quick. Alright, seems like everything's amazing except for this is touching this. So I need to relax this and put it in the proper pin to get that so that's not chattling on there. It's like ring, 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 ring. But like I said, I will film it, but once this is going and you put this in 7th gear, this pedal actually comes all the way back. And that's definitely the problem when you go away from it. It needs to be in this one. Now that needs to be tightened up or it will fall loose. It needs to be in this position so it's just got just enough slack and not touching. And that's actually the weird 1/2 inch again. So no big deal. Just tighten that back up. I'm going to use 2 hands so I can hold that in position. Alright, so here's the final of that. The next thing that I should have fixed was the brakes. So you got your pedal, got it neutral. Got your park, number 1, forward. Here we go. This is the pony, so it has the automatic. You can drive with no feet. Cruise control. That's why I don't like the Bronco. The Bronco has that dumb pedal, you gotta make it go. So I love these ponies. Here's number 7. That's what I'm talking about. That pedal will go all the way back on 7. See if reverse works. So pedal down. Don't smell any smoking. If you smell smoking or hear noise, you gotta get it turned off because something ain't right. There you go, reverse. Call that a fix. One last thing, when I turn these off, I want that spring to be relaxed as possible and the belts. So I put it in neutral, I put it in 7, so that pedal will come all the way back and relax. Then I turn it off. So that makes this spring under there, this spring, not be under all that tension. Can't really see under there good, but anyway, it relaxes all this stuff so it's not all bound up while it's just sitting there.